The advice that I'm going to give you today is going to sound a little bit contradictory to expectations that you may have of what it takes to sound natural in a second language in American English. But it's something that once you actually start listening, really start listening to what native speakers are doing, you're going to notice that native speakers do it. They do it all the time. And we're going to be talking about this idea of repeating something that you said, changing it slightly. In that way, it actually helps you buy time for thinking about what you want to say. It also helps you link your thought groups together a little bit more naturally, ironically, even though it's chunking things slightly differently than you may expect. Good morning, guys. Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show, which is. If I can find it. Wake up, American. We are here typically between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m. New York to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of practice for the day. And to guide you in this process, there is me. Hello, guys. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. That's one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English pronunciation, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and strengthen your vowel sounds. Today we're going to be working with a text that I use in my group coaching program. So in case you don't know, we have a group coaching program that meets every single day, like 3 times a day. For 30 minutes. And one of the things that we do in the group coaching is at the beginning of the month, we assign a paragraph for all our students to look at. And then at the end of the month, we return to the paragraph just to see how have students been progressing with their studies and things like that. So it's a way to kind of check yourself during the month to see, are you making progress, where are you making progress, where are you still having difficulty, and things like that. This is the paragraph that we're looking at this month. Okay, and we've shown this before. Okay, so I'm going to read this two ways. Okay, I just want you to kind of pay attention to the difference. I'm going to start from and I would say to her, and finish with their lives are about them. Okay, so I just want you to listen. And I would say to her, guess who your younger son's wedding is about? And she would be like, it's not about me. It's not about my older son. Like, that's the thing. This is not about them, which their lives are about them. Because that's the first way. Now I'm going to read it again. I want you to see if you can hear it different. And I would say to her, guess who your younger son's wedding is about? And she would be like, it's not about me. It's not about my older son. Like, that's the thing. This is not about them, which their lives are about them. Okay, can you hear a little bit of a difference between those? So the first one, I had no repetitions at all, and then the second time adding in the repetitions. Now you may not necessarily like the repetitions, however, like I mentioned earlier, it's something that when you actually start listening to native speakers talk, you're going to notice that they're adding in these elements. So this is a technique that, hey, I think you might be able to benefit from as well. So let's kind of just pick out some random thought groups and pick a word to repeat and then discuss kind of what's happening. Let's start off with this, and I would say to her. Okay. So if I said it with no repetitions at all, it might sound something like, and I would say to her, I'm stressing say. Okay. Let's now play around with this a little bit. Hello to Emmanuel. Thanks for being with us again. Um, so let's maybe put a repetition on I. Okay, and there's different ways we could do the repetition. So the first way I might do my repetition, for instance, might be like a drag. It's like, and I would say to her again, and I would say to her. Notice that there's also that little pitch drop, right? It's like, and I would say to her like that. Okay, but you don't necessarily have to drag. You can also just cut. It's like, and I would say to her, and I would say to her. It's like something like that. I, I, I would say to her. Okay, so something like that. Just another little technique there. Um, a lot of times playing around with the pitch differences can be really, really helpful. The reason why changing the pitches can be helpful is because in American English, we're using pitch to create separation between words and thought groups. So by maybe having your first repetition be higher, second one lower, or vice versa, it just helps create an element of contrast in your speech, actually making you easier to understand. So that's right. By using these repetitions, you might actually increase your comprehensibility to your listener, believe it or not. Okay. Um, how about this next one? So we had this little phrase like, "Guess who your younger son's wedding is about?" Okay. Um, thanks to Saravanan. I'm not sure what his stress is, but thanks for being with us. It's, the emojis unfortunately don't come through, but I like reading this text. It is an exciting volcano dash green dash lava dash orange journey with the what a great text interpretation of the emojis. Thank you for being with us. I greatly appreciate you being here and also writing. It's always nice when people not only check in but they also write something. Um, okay, so how about our next one? So we had this phrase: "Guess who your younger son's wedding is about?" Um, let's maybe add a repetition on who. It's like, guess who your younger son's wedding is about. Again, guess who your younger son's, or like we can drag more. It's like, guess who your younger son's. Again, kind of slows things down a little bit, but again, playing with pitch. Um, you can also play around with pitch, but let's maybe do low pitch and high pitch on a repetition. It's like, guess who your younger son's wedding is about. Guess who your younger son's, like that. You can do the opposite, so high pitched and low pitched. Like, guess who your younger son's, like that. Let's try our next thought group. So we had this thought group with, and she would be like. Let's put a little repetition on she. Okay. Let's drag the first time, and she would be like, and she would be like. Let's try cutting, and she would be like, and she would be like. Do you hear that? She would, and she would be like. That's also in terms of pitch. What are we doing there? We're doing low pitch to high pitch, right? And she would be like, and she would be like, and she would be like, things like that. Okay. Um, let's maybe do one more example. How about that next little thought group? Like we have this and then we have this. It's not about me. That part. Let's maybe put a repetition on it's. So let's start off with dragging. Okay, it's like it's not about me. Again, it's not about me. Okay, let's now try cutting. Uh, it's not about me. Uh, it's not about me. Okay, so again, just hear that little difference between the cut and the drag. Okay, regardless of what you do, you can put these repetitions in many different places. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, and again, it's not necessarily even a tool that you have to use. It's just something that when you start listening for it, I really do think you're going to start encountering it more in the speech of those around you, or if you're just kind of exposed to English online, I think you're going to start noticing it during interviews and things like that. Let me know how this exercise goes, guys. What you find easy, what you find difficult. And hey, this is Friday, so we'll be back with you more episodes of Wake Up American next week on Monday. But I do want to just say thank you really quick. I know there's a lot of pronunciation resources out there, so the fact you are here with me today is greatly, greatly appreciated. Once more, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. That's one of the 4 keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sound strength of your vowels. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I will see you all later. Have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon. Take care.